Alrighty, hello everybody. So it is almost 7 o'clock, 1 minute till, and it's nice to see you all returning and a lot of newcomers here tonight. I decided to invite a lot of other people through email that have also been talking about the door on some forums and things like that. So I thought, we'd bring them into our safe keep and be able to let them experience what we experience and talk about it here tonight as well. So just going to wait a few more seconds here and let everybody get in, and then we're going to go ahead and start at 7 on the dot. So everybody, just make sure you have that pen and paper, as I said in the email, and we'll get to it. And I hope you all had a great week beforehand, and sorry for the urgent meeting as well. I just have some stuff I need to show you guys, and I think you guys will be excited about it. Alrighty. So I think we're going to go ahead and get started here as we move on. I think everybody, or most of everybody, is here, and it's nice to see you all. A lot of new faces, a lot of faces that have been here before, and including last week. So I'm glad you all could make it from last week for when we experienced some hypnosis to go into and experience the door once again. And this week I thought we'd do something different. I have to show you guys some things. I got a set of instructions from a anonymous email, and it included some files and some things like that and some videos, and it said not to look, and it just said just make sure everybody has a pen and a piece of paper. And it wants me to share it with you guys. So if you guys have it, please show it to the camera and let us know that you have it and everybody's ready. Let's take a look here. All right, good to see. So for this week, we're doing something completely different, as I said, and we're going to go ahead and write these things down so we can document our stories and everybody else's stories to make sure these things aren't lost. And so it's just a collective thing we can do together. And yeah, so we're going to move on into it. So if anybody has any questions beforehand, go ahead and ask. I'll be here to answer.
Yeah, sorry. Just real quick, has anybody seen John? He was here last week. He was kind of struggling, so I was just kind of wondering.
I actually have not heard from him in a while. It's been a while since I last heard or saw him.
He did seem quite freaked out last time, didn't he?
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while myself.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, if everybody could avoid sharing their screens and things like that, unless you ask, that'd be great. We just want to keep things to sort of focused and not too many interruptions throughout the meeting, so we can just have things straight down the middle and how we like them. So yeah, I think we should go ahead and get started here. Let's get into it. So basically, make sure everybody has their pen and piece of paper, and we're going to open up this file here. I'm going to show you guys a video and make sure everybody follows along in the directions. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys this first video. Alrighty. You're woken in the middle of the night. Your room is dark. You lie still, trying to identify why you woke. It is quiet. Write about this. Write about your room and what woke you up. You'll have a minute to write this down. "20 seconds left. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, so with this prompt, you're supposed to write it down. If everybody needs a few seconds, go ahead and take those and write that down. But while you guys are doing that, I'll go ahead and share my personal thing, what I wrote down. So I talked about when I woke up, the room was very cold. It was almost freezing, and the air was very heavy. It was as if my chest was being crushed. That's what I wrote down, and who else would like to share what they wrote?
I'll go. Sorry if I seem a little bit nervous. I feel really uncomfortable talking about this. So I wake up thinking I was in some type of dream. I look across my room and all I see are these shadows. I think it's my window, but I remember closing it before I went to bed. The shadows just keep getting bigger and bigger.
Okay. Who else?
Hey, Maud, do you mind if I share mine?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, before I even do that, I have a couple questions for you.
Yeah.
Your story kind of intrigued me. So, I wanted to ask you, these files that you got from this anonymous source, you have no idea who it is?
Correct. I have no idea who sent these, why they sent them to me, or anything. It just has instructions, and I thought it'd be a good thing for all of us to go through. And, I got it abruptly out of the blue, so that's why I called this emergency meeting. Correct.
Alrighty. Well, I'll go ahead and share my story quickly. So I was waking up and I was trying to get the eye crust out of my eyes, and while I was doing that, I got this overwhelmingly huge fear running through my body as to why I woke up out of nowhere.
Okay. Would anybody else to share, especially newcomers, would you guys like to introduce yourself?
I'll go. Basically, I woke up and my room was like super cold. And like my dog was beside me, but my dog was like dead asleep, like dead to the world, not moving, nothing. And it just scared me because like, why isn't she moving?
Interesting. Similar to mine with the cold, but also could it be frozen in time as if interesting things. But after here, it says to show you guys this film here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for you guys. 1 second.
I can barely see anything. I try to quickly get the eye crust out of my eyes, but the internal fright that the darkness gives me, as I know that I woke up for no reason, it's scary. Whoa, Mod. Why do you have a video of me in my room? Me telling you guys tonight was the first time I've ever shared that story.
I honestly could not tell you. It's just in the files. I couldn't tell you, Jayla. Let's just keep continuing forward, and maybe it was just a cause of something else. Just continue. So on to the next prompt here. What can you hear? Was it the sound that woke you up? Describe it. Write this down for me. "20 seconds. "10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, with this sound, would anybody like to go ahead? We're just gonna, it says to share this immediately afterwards, this other film, but I just want to ask, would anybody like to share their sound really quickly? Anybody, any newcomers? Okay. All right. Thank you, Rachel. All right, let's go ahead and move on to this film. All right, those were a few sounds. Did any of those ring a bell for any of you?
Those last wind chimes that I heard, those I'd heard in my experience with the door. That's what had awoken me. Those wind chimes. That's what I had written down.
Okay.
I heard a baby crying, and I also wrote that down as well.
All right. So there's sounds that everybody's written down. Okay, so some sort of connection like before with Jayla. Continue on to the next prompt. We'll figure out more then. You turn your head to the right. There's a door, dimly glowing where there's never been a door before. You know you shouldn't, but you get out of bed to investigate. What does this door look like? Is it a regular door? Is it a trap door? Describe this and write it down for me. "20 seconds. "10 seconds. Three, two, one. All right, who would like to share their door?
I want to share, but I'm new, by the way, so I'm Melly. But I don't know if anybody else's door was like this, but it was on the floor. It was like a trap door, and it had two doors. It was like a book.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, I just had to take some notes down for my therapist and stuff. But see, what makes my door so interesting to me was that, like, to the right of me where I sleep is my bed, like the wall, because like my bed's up against my wall, and the door is like, it's like a trap door, but like it was against the wall. So like that was what made it so peculiar to me. And like it had like this glow to it, like this faint glow, and like it had this sort of aura. And I should have gone up and left because like it was a sketchy door, like that had never been there, and it was just there. But like I was like in a trance that like wouldn't let me get away.
Okay. Any newcomers? Would you guys like to share?
I
will.
do.
Oh, there you go. Whatever.
I mean, whoever wants to go first, that's cool with me.
Both of you.
You go first.
So my bed is also up against the wall, and whenever I turned my head to the right, it was like a normal door, like it wasn't a trap door, but it had like this aura that he was talking about, and it was like a yellowish kind of aura, and the door was yellow, and it had paint like peeling like and chipping off of it, and like I woke up and I felt cold, but the doorknob was like really, really warm.
Okay. All right. And JC?
Mine's kind of a mix between both of y'all's because my bed is also on the right side of my wall. It sits right next to the wall, and so is my actual door. And my door was my actual door, but it wasn't my door. It was a different door that was there, even though that's where my own door is. But it had a red glow and kind of like a fog coming through the bottom of it.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So others had doors that were in different places, and others were in the same place, but they looked a little bit different. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and move on to this film, and thank you everybody for sharing in the chat as well.
As I've said in previous meetings, I turn my head to the right and I see this mysterious door, And so I take a few moments and just trying to comprehend what's going on. And I get up, I throw a hoodie on, grab my phone, and start heading towards the door. And as I'm getting closer, I feel drawn to it in a weird type of way.
How? That's weird because the people that came to the last meet, y'all remember I was talking about something like it being weird and I feel like someone was watching me, but I couldn't prove it because I don't have any cameras or anything. And now this like explains it.
But while it's
No.
showing you is the question here. Continue forward. So it seems that multiple people are also being filmed. On to the next prompt then. What is the door like? Describe it. Describe opening the door. Please write this down. $15. 10 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Well, who would like to describe opening the door?
So, I kind of already described mine a tad bit earlier, but yeah, so like it had that glow, and when I went to open it, like it felt heavy. Like I don't know how to explain it, but like had this heavy feeling. Not that the door itself was necessarily heavy, but like to open it, just felt like it had this weight to it, and that's the best way I can describe it.
I'll go ahead and share mine, I guess. So my door was like a black wooden door. And around it, it's like glowing red. It was weird. And so I like slowly open it, and I'm being very conscious because I don't know what's going on. And when I open it, it's like straight white, like just as far you can see, like just white, nothing else.
Okay. Interesting. Would any newcomers like to share as well? Alrighty. Well, let's continue on to the film for this one as well. Oh, here we go.
I came across this door, and it was a brick door, actually. So I filled the door. The top half of the door was freezing cold, like to where it would freeze your hand off. And then the bottom half was warm, sort of hot, kind of, but it was on the warm side. So I opened the door slowly, real slowly, because I don't know what I'm getting myself into.
Okay. That was you, Shemaya.
Because this is kind of strange but cool at the same time. Because I actually wrote that down. But how would you even get that? Or how would someone get that from my room?
And that was exactly what you were wearing. That was the exact door and everything in that situation, correct?
Yes, that's the same everything. Exactly how it happened.
Okay. All right. Well, let's continue on to the next prompt and see what else is in store for us. There are steep steps on the other side of the door. You go down them. What is it like? You're barefoot. Describe the steps. Are they cold, carpeted, slimy? What are they made out of? Stone? Brick? Concrete? Write about this. "15 seconds. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alrighty. To share their stories.
I'm new here, and I just feel like I should share this. So after I opened the door, I went down these like cement steps, and they were really cold. And of course, I didn't have shoes on, and I didn't know where I was going or where I was going to end up.
Okay. Alright. Who else? Oh, yeah, Shemai.
So I seen these steps and they were like very cold as well. So I went down them and they were very creaky and really old looking.
Okay.
I'll go next if that's okay.
Oh, yeah.
But my stairs were also like super cold, like to the point where my feet hurt and they just became numb after a while.
Okay. Anybody else's? Would anybody else like to describe their steps? Any newcomers? Anything? Alrighty. Well, yeah, I see everybody in the chat talking about what their stairs were marble as well. Mine were marble. Let's move on to the film for this prompt then.
I went down my stairs slowly as to not alert any possible things in my house because I had a feeling something might have been there that shouldn't have been. Well, when I reached my glass, it was all shattered on the ground with bloody footprints leading away over to my front door. I was scared as to what could have been over there and was hesitant at first, instead wanting to look at the shattered glass that lay at my feet.
Okay. That was Christian.
Yeah. How did you still... This is adding too many pieces. I can't understand how this is possible. I mean, who could have been there? There was only... Oh.
And interesting, through all your studies and everything like that, it's hard to think about adding this to make sense with all the things you've written down beforehand.
Yes, definitely.
Let's continue on to the next prompt and find out more, shall we? The stairs are half lit. What's the light source? Is it a burning candle? An LED light like you find in an office? What's the light source? Write that down. "15 seconds. 10, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alrighty. So, what was the lighting to use you guys' stairs? Yeah, Casey.
My stairs were lit by themselves. Like I could only see the few steps in front of me because when I would step on the stair, it would light up. So then it would light up the next few steps as I went down the staircase.
Okay. Who else?
I can go next.
Yes.
As many of you know, I've got pretty bad claustrophobia. Many of you might relate, but I had to crawl through my stairs almost, and there was only like a small candle on the wall, so it was dark and scary.
Okay.
Mom, can I go real quick?
Yes, of course.
So when I saw my light, it was like one of those like singular like hanging lights, and it was like really dim, but it was still noticeable to see from the hallway, and it was like swaying back and forth, but there was like no breeze. So I was trying to figure out like why it was moving, if someone was there or anything.
Okay. Any other people want to share? Any newcomers? Anything like that?
Bro, how weren't you freaked out? I'd have like freaked out.
I was, but yeah.
Well, let's move on to the video for this one as well. Okay.
I see a staircase that descends down into a basement. It's dimly lit, and from what I can make out, it seems to be candles that are dying out and barely have any light left in them.
Okay.
So, that's weird because up to now, everyone's films have been, it looks like someone was recording them, but that was what I saw. Like, that's what I saw as I was experiencing it. That, I don't understand that. Like, how?
Maybe it's to say something about personal character. Maybe the film is supposed to give a message of sorts, or pinpoint something. Let's continue moving on to see what else we can find out. Okay, here we go. Something goes past you, and it disappears. What is it, and how do you feel about it? Is it a person? Is it an object? Write this down for me. Ten seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Who would like to tell us what went past them?
I can go again. So it was like a ghost type figure. It was like a boy riding a bike laughing at me, and I could actually hear him. But then when I turned around to see where he was going, he just disappeared, and I was very confused.
Okay. All right. And Emily, yeah. Go ahead and share for us, yeah.
So somebody threw something and it just went right by me, and I felt the breeze after it went by me, and it's like they were trying to get my attention, so like they were aiming for me, but they weren't aiming to hit me almost.
Okay. Did you see what the object was?
I have no idea. I felt the breeze and that was it.
Okay. All right. Who else?
I guess now that y'all see what I'm going, there's no shame in hiding what I saw. But so when I saw a shadow, and it really startled me because it was this huge shadow that I saw something like go past me. But when I turned around to see, it was stupid because it turned out to just be a moth that had gone like too close to the candle. So that was that.
Okay. Anybody else?
I would like to share if that's okay, moderator.
Oh, yeah, C7, yes, please.
So, after going to my front door, I decided it might have been a better choice to go back to my glass that was over on the floor and investigate. Maybe I could have gotten a clue. And as I was over there, a shadowy figure brushes past me and makes me knock over another glass that was on the counter onto the floor. It shatters, and it almost looks like the pieces fall in the exact same places as the past ones. But that couldn't have been possible because I had picked one up earlier, as you saw in that video.
Oh. Okay. Interesting. I see some talk about like lion heads and things like that. Those are also interesting because lions are a symbol of pride and stuff like that. Okay. Well, let's continue on to the video for this one.
There's this shadow that goes right past me. I tried to see what the shadow was, but it's already gone. It's kind of weird because I feel like the shadow was trying to protect me from something at the bottom.
Okay.
I have no words. I'm just trying to figure out how you got that in the first place because I've never told anybody what happened to me when I experienced the door, and if somebody was watching me, I would have known it.
Okay.
Seems like a lot of us have a stalker.
Was there anybody that you would think that spirit or shadow would belong to trying to protect you from something?
I honestly don't know. What I'm thinking is that it symbolizes somebody who's always been there for me and who's always been really close to me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we can just continue on forward and continue writing about that. The stairs open into a hallway. Describe it. Describe walking forward through the hallway. Are there doors on each side? Is it a tall ceiling? Where? Is it very tight and claustrophobic? Write about this. What does your hallway look like? Ten seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, someone please describe their hallway. Yeah, Shemaiah.
Okay, so as I kept walking, there was this very long and thin hallway. Like my hallway, I couldn't even like stretch out my arms at all. So I just keep walking to see what I can find or come across, and it just gets darker and darker to where I couldn't see anything at all.
Okay. Who else?
I'm gonna share this because it seemed pretty normal. It didn't seem that weird, but it was like a hotel at night. Like there was doors on each side, and yeah, that's all I could really compare it to is just a hotel with the lights off.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll go next. So my hallway was decorated, like one of those, like the old Victorian houses. It looked exactly like that, like with the carpeting and stuff. And it had all these like potted plants everywhere. And when I was walking through, I saw all of these pictures of myself. But the weird thing was, like, these pictures were never taken. They were just from my memories.
Okay. All right. Well, any newcomers would like to share?
I'm actually totally in like a different kind of predicament. Going back to the light, I also had the hanging lamp, and as I was going down the stairs, it only lit the center part of the stairs. So it was only the center part, and once I descended all the way down the stairs and got to the hallway, I couldn't see anything at all. And I could feel, like, I stretched my arms out and could feel doors on both of the sides, but I just kept walking down because I didn't want to go in any of the other doors.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? All right. Okay. Dungeon. All right. Well, it's interesting seeing like the courage, seeing how you kept walking through the darkness when you could have stopped and gone back, but you decided to continue to move forward even through the darkness, to maybe find the light at the end of the tunnel. So let's move on to the film.
The hallway emerges, and it has no end in sight. No light other than the floor, and with the same stone as the stairs. Still cold and dry, but not dusty. It's as if it was well kept and cleaned, but no proof of cleaning in sight. Just a hallway stretching into darkness. Is this a tunnel, but with no light at the end?
Let's continue on to this next prompt. Here we go. What can you hear? What is it like? Give me a simile. Write this down. Ten, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, who would like to describe their experience next? Yes, Millie.
For me, this is where it started getting weird. I heard like different things coming from each of those doors, like screams, and then like I heard people laughing. I couldn't really like differentiate what I heard, but it was just like a lot going on, like when I'd walk down the hallway.
Okay. All right, and would anybody else like to share? Okay. Chris, but not exactly. Maybe speaking. Okay. Yeah, interesting to hear voices and things of that sort of nature, because it could be someone or just a mimic of your imagination. Let's continue on to this, and please listen carefully, everybody. Divinity.
Hold on a second. How did you get my mom? That's a little creepy for one, and for two, kind of important I know that. That's like my best friend. How'd you get that?
No, the music at the end is like the same as mine. Like it started fading away. Like it was just going by me in a way. That's
Yeah, I thought I heard like a heartbeat, like mine. I was weird.
Interesting to think about. All those sounds were so easily listened to and mimicked, maybe. Let's continue on to the next prompt and see what we find then. What can you smell? What is it like? Is it more of a potent smell or something you can barely smell? Or what is it? Write that down. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alrighty. Who would like to share about what they smelt?
I can go first this time. This one's a bit more personal, I think. I smelled the dust on the paintings, and it reminded me of my grandma's old bookshelves. Um, for those of you who don't know, my grandma is the only person who believed me about my door experience. And sadly, like a couple of years ago, she passed away.
Okay. Anybody else?
Oh, was kind of random, but I smelled apple pie, and it was like almost like I could taste it, but I don't know. It was just random.
Alright. Would any other people like to share? Any newcomers, maybe? And yes, in the chat, I do see as well. Okay. Any other newcomers like to speak up? Feel free. Alrighty. Well, you can move on to this video. And M159, if you'd pay attention for me, I have something to show you.
When I walked forward, I could smell the great warmth of apple pie and imagined its delicious taste.
Well,
That's a little unsettling. I'm just kind of shocked and lightheaded. I think I might have to just get some water or something.
okay. Well, yeah, while you take your break, you can feel free. Let's continue on, everyone, to the next prompt. You enter a large hall. There are paintings on the walls. And what are the paintings of, and how do you feel about them? Are they people? Are they things, places? Write that down. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Alrighty. Now, who would like to share?
I can go first. I got it. These were like of my mom and my stepdad and my stepbrothers, but they were none of me. And it was weird because they weren't happy either. It was like all the arguments and fights that had happened within my home. And I'm just like, somebody's a stalker.
Okay. Who else?
Okay, so I go into this hallway and there are paintings of flowers all over the walls. It sort of made me feel like I was in a flower field.
Okay. All right. Well, and everybody, thank you for sharing in the chat. Miss Corey, thank you. I was okay. All right. Well, if Jayla would pay attention, please. I have something to show you again.
As I walk down this hallway, I see all these assortments of different paintings of clowns. They range with emotions and more expressions than last time. It kind of makes me wonder why they're all here and if it means something more than what it led on to.
Maud, I hate clowns. That's like one of my biggest. How are you still getting all these videos of me?
You've had 2 so far. Maybe it's a message to.
I'm with her on that one, cause bro, let me tell you, clowns are stay away from me.
Maybe pay attention more. You've had 2 films. Maybe it's trying to say something. Let's continue on to the next prompt. You're attracted to one painting in particular. What is it? And why are you studying it? Write about this, please. Alrighty. Well, who would like to share now?
I'll go again. This one that caught my eye was Mama, but it was different from the rest. She was happy, and it was before she got married.
Okay. Who else?
Hey, this prompt in particular, this means a lot to share to me because I find it very mesmerizing, honestly. The painting that I saw was of a person who seemed very familiar, but I couldn't really put my finger on who exactly it was. They had this angelic touch to them, but they were painted as the devil.
Okay. Would any newcomers like to speak, especially those who haven't talked? We would like to hear your stories and experiences because everybody is welcome as well. All right. Well, I just saw my grandmother's house. Okay. You have familiar paintings from other people's houses in childhood. Okay. Well. Okay. Yeah, Adrian Rice. You can. Yeah, sure. Go ahead and speak to us about yours.
Yeah, the don't even know if you can hear me, but there was an amazing moment where I was just looking at. It's like a particular painting that I'd just forgotten about completely, but when I saw it, it just astounded me. And it's just a country scene with a couple of cottages at like a kind of almost like a country crossroads, with just these beautiful, surrounded by beautiful trees and typical sort of Irish old-fashioned country feel to these cottages, and just a road leading off into these beautiful sunny day Irish fields, and just extraordinary to see that picture again. I don't quite know what it means, but it's remarkable. This is a strange happening. All right. Thank you. Yeah, I'll stop sharing now.
No, it's fine. Thank you for sharing it. I like to see into other people's experiences and what they've seen and how it can compare to other people's and how we can further explain what we've seen. So, if anybody else would like to share, please. If not, we can go ahead and move on to this film. Alrighty, here we go.
But one caught my eye. It was of Mama before she got married. She looked so happy, unlike in the rest.
That's weird. Now I know somebody is a stalker. For sure.
Okay. Okay, well, maybe it's has something to say between your connection between you and your mom. You seem to hold her very close. It's a very important piece to you. Maybe it's something that you should look forward into and keep accepting. Maybe the door's trying to show that, especially through this film. But all right, let's move on to this next prompt. You hear something which makes you leave at once. What is it? What is this sound? Write that down for me. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, instead of sharing here, I want everybody to listen. I believe at least one of these sounds here will be something you recognize. So I'm going to go ahead and play that and take a listen.
Melly.
Now, were any of those familiar?
Yes, I heard a thunderstorm, which I have written down on my paper.
The door creaking sounds a
Yeah,
lot like
that
mine.
baby again. I was gonna mention that
That
sound of
is.
the baby again.
Hold on. Hold on. I know y'all heard my name, and that's literally what I wrote. I wrote that somebody called my name, and that kind of sounded like my mama.
That's scary.
Okay. A lot of people seem to have written down a baby crying. Did anybody else, any newcomers, recognize any of these sounds? Did any of them happen to be something you wrote down?
Hello.
Hello?
Okay, there we go. None of the sounds seem to come up as, like what I actually heard. But what I heard was like a giant roar, like a animalistic roar, like it felt so commanding. And like it was telling me I wasn't supposed to see that yet.
Okay. Interesting. All right, an animalistic roar talking to you. Okay. Well, anybody else? Alrighty. Well, let's continue to move on through these prompts. You cannot find the stairs you came up. And there's only another door, and you struggle to open it. What do? Do you continue trying to open the door? Write about this. All right. Now, who would like to share about
I
their?
got you. I got you.
Okay.
So this door took like 300 years to get open. But when I finally got it open, there's another long hallway behind this door that like never ends. I'm like, what is it with this place and long dark hallways? I've not got time for this.
Okay. Who else would like to talk about opening their door? Anybody else?
My door was locked.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Anybody else?
So like I almost ran into the door trying to find it, and I go to turn the knob, and it's like no matter how hard I try, it won't move. It feels like there's somebody on the other side holding it closed, and then suddenly they like move away and boom, it opens and I fall on my face.
Okay. All right. Seems a lot of people did have a sort of locked door that couldn't be opened, and some people accepted what the sound that they heard coming after them that made them leave, and others decided to continue to try to open it. Let's also watch this film. For this one, I would like Madison to pay special attention, please.
When I come across this door, it's a large, tall, gray metal door with handles, kind of like the ones you'd see in a school building.
Okay, but that video, it doesn't show me, but it's exactly what I wrote down on my paper, which is weird. I don't like this. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand.
Yeah, maybe they were school doors, so maybe they indicate something to do with school in your life and it being a big part of what you're going through. And let's continue on to this next prompt and see what else there is. When you get the door open, what is the first thing you see? Five, four, three, two, one. What is the first thing you all saw? Anybody like to share first?
I wrote that I actually didn't continue with the door, so I took my shoes off and I was feeling around the floorboards with my feet to see if there was a trick doorway on the floor. And when I found that, the first thing I saw was like a wedge of light. It was coming from kind of like a window well and kind of that cool red clay smell that you've been in those in the basements in apartments with the unfinished basement. I mean, in the old houses. That's what I saw. I saw like a wedge of light hitting on some red clay.
Okay. Interesting. Sort of looking, instead of going with the regular path, you looked for a second opportunity to find. Interesting. And I saw Shemaya, yes. Shemaya, you can go first, and Chris, you can go second.
So when I opened my door, the first thing I saw was my future.
Okay. And Chris, yes?
Okay. So what I thought about was I opened the door and I closed it, and there was a mirror in front of me and there was a mirror behind me, and all I could continue to see were more and more doors, and it was hard for me to determine what was the image in the mirror and how many more doors laid ahead of me.
Okay. Sort of repetition and not finding a way out. Yeah, okay. It's seeking into the unknown, but getting the same exact end in every time you open the second door.
Great.
Okay. Interesting to think about. Anybody else? And then we can move on.
When I opened the door, I saw this room that had nothing there, and the only thing that was like in the room in the middle was a rocking chair.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to this film, shall we?
This room was dark at first, but then lights dimmed on and revealed I'm in an emergency room at a hospital.
So
I'm actually so glad you have that. I didn't expect for you to have a film of me, but that's the proof I need to prove to my family and my friends that I'm not mental. Maud, you have to send that to me after the meet. You have to.
we'll discuss that later. Continue to think about what that film means and what you can get out of it. Let's go ahead and move on to this second prompt. What happens next? What is in the room you go into? Write about this. Three, two, one. Alrighty. Who would now like to share about what was that room?
I'd like to share.
Yeah, E. Yes, please.
So in my room were my friends. And I had this really bad feeling. I know it's gonna sound awful, but I didn't want to see my friends there. They've been constantly just avoiding me and saying that I'm not right in the head and I'm lying, and I didn't want to see them, and so I thought that I should go back into the door.
Okay.
Yeah, can I go?
Yes, please.
So like I tried to go back, but the door disappeared and I'm stuck in this field with like a tornado and everything's blowing around me and getting destroyed, but like I can't move. And just scares me in a way, you know.
Okay. Who else? Yes, Caitlin.
Okay, so in my room, there was this big bouquet of flowers. It sort of reminded me of the flowers that you would see at a funeral.
You lagged a bit there. So it was whenever in the room you walked in, it was flowers, correct? Like sort of like flowers you see at a funeral, you said?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay, that brings beauty and death in a sort of way. Would anybody else like to share? Any newcomers? All right. Well, we'll go ahead and move on to the film. If real quick, if DZM would pay attention, real close attention to this one.
I'm relieved to see my bed. See, what I find so peculiar about mine is that I keep seeing what I saw, like, in person. And I don't know what way to take it, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, because, like E36 said earlier, that means that I might not need my therapist either. I'm not actually losing it. That it might actually, it's something that we went through. If it's something that y'all saw it with me. Did y'all not? You all saw it with me. That's something that I did go through then.
Maybe it's something to mean every time your film is shown, it's shown from your perspective. Maybe it's to be more for you to think more about yourself, think more about how you can help yourself, and many other things like that. Give yourself, accept yourself, and accept what you've gone through, maybe. Now, let's move on to this next prompt. There's also a big casket, or chest, or a box even. What is in it? Four, three, two, one. Now, who would like to share about their box, chest, or casket of the sort? Yes, Emily.
So to understand the basket, the chest, you have to understand the room. So in the room, it's like a dome, and the wall is covered in like little crevices that have potted plants in them, and it's made of wood. So there's like a treasure chest in the middle of the room, and I open it, and there's an axe inside, and like the first thought that comes to my mind is that I can use the axe to get myself out of the room.
Okay, looking for an escape. Yeah. Who else?
I would like to share next, moderator.
Yes, please, go ahead.
So when I entered my room, it seemed a lot like a cinema room with a big black screen and a bunch of seats, but it was empty. I did notice that there was a small cardboard box lazily taped shut in kind of the corner of the room, out of sight. And when I opened it, there was a film reel. I looked around and I saw a projector. I placed it in, and the events that had happened throughout my entire experience so far began to play on the projector.
Okay. Who else?
I'll go.
yeah.
So when I opened my casket, I saw myself, but it was a younger version of myself.
Okay.
So I'd also like to share for this prompt. So whenever I got to my bed, there was like a chest, and when I opened it, there was like this bottle, and it had like a ship inside of it. So the best way that I can compare it to is, if y'all seen Pirates in the Caribbean, y'all might know how Jack Sparrow has, like, he carries this bottle that has like a ship in it, and that's what I had in it. It felt heavy to hold, and that's what I saw.
Okay. And Chris Johnson, would you like to share again? All right. Yeah.
Okay, did you ask me a question?
Yeah, I was asking if you'd like to share again, which you wrote down.
I didn't really get an opportunity to write anything down for that experience.
We're at dinner chiming in with you guys.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in anyway. That's it's very helpful to, and it's very nice that you would take the time out of your day and join the support group tonight. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and move on to this film. I'd like Shemaya to pay close attention here.
I come across this casket and like I'm confused. So I open it like really slowly, confused as well as to what I am looking at. And I open it and I find a DVD labeled Y in capitalized letters.
Okay, so like I actually remember sharing this with someone, but I told them not to tell anybody. Maybe they thought I was lying, but now
Well, they
there's
obviously told somebody.
yeah, but now there's a video, so I just don't know what to say.
I would remember not to be too hasty to consider or blame someone close to you. I would rather take a second and think about what the film means, rather than just face value of the film. Would anybody else like to share? Okay. Well, I believe we can move on to the next prompt. And if anybody would like to share in the future, just remember you can raise your hand or type in chat. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to this next prompt. Now there's a person in the room. Who is it? And what do they say to you? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alrighty. Who now would like to share?
Yeah, I'd like to share.
Okay.
You know, you guys are talking about the casket and the person that walks in the room. Me and my wife, we were just talking. Is that Corey? You know, and Corey is my son that was shot and killed when he was 14 years old. And I can see him standing there just saying to me, Dad, I'm sorry. You know, I didn't mean to put myself in a situation like that or allow somebody to put a gun up to me just to prove I was down with everybody else in the room. He said, Dad, I still love you. But just don't be mad at me, you know. Now, if I had opportunity, I'd tell him, hey, I spent my whole life trying to teach young folk not to make that mistake. So he is my inspiration, my motivation to do what I do. You know.
My condolences go out to you and your family, and that's a very powerful thing to say, and it's a good way to empower others and talking about your story. And thank you for sharing. I know sometimes it can be hard, and it's also, you know, very like powerful and inspiring to everybody here in this meet. And thank you. Who else would like to go ahead and share for us?
Mine was very kind of heartfelt, but I saw my own grandmother, and I had all these like photos, and she was saying how she missed what was in the photos, and I didn't know exactly. I didn't know if it was like the happiness or the memories or something of that sort.
Okay. Who else?
For me, this one's like really random, but my person was Jesus, and it's kind of crazy because like, you know, he's like a spirit, but like I saw him there, and what he said to me, he asked me if I wanted to start over, which was a really random question, but yeah.
Okay. Well, anybody else?
Hi.
Hello.
Again.
Yes, go ahead. Hello.
Okay, so basically just real quick, I'll just say that earlier in the thing I had seen the same man that I'm seeing now, that I had seen just now. And in my box was a sword, and this guy had told me he appeared again and had told me that with this sword or whatever, I was like almost ready to see whatever he had previously told me that I wasn't ready to see. And I was almost ready with that sword is what he had mentioned. And like I'm getting closer to knowing who it is, but I don't know yet.
Finding empowerment. Interesting. Okay. Anybody else before we move on to this film? Alrighty. Well, Jordan, if you would please look very closely.
The younger version of myself looked me dead in the eye and said, "I told you so." I got freaked out, so I started to back away and try to find the door that I had just come through.
I don't know why, but I have this like sense of relief. It's like this actually really did happen to me, and I haven't just been imagining it the entire time.
Maybe foreseeing yourself in the past is maybe showing a regret you have now. Maybe something that you wish you had done when you were younger, but you didn't do, and it's telling you should have done. It's an interesting thing to think about. Would anybody else did anybody else see a younger version of themselves or any of the sort? All right. Let's continue to move on to this next prompt here and see where it leads us. I saw an older version of my daughter. Interesting. Okay. Let's continue on. What happens next to end your story? You can't just return to your bedroom, and it can't have all been a dream. What ends your story of the door? Write this down. Three, two, one. Now, who would like to talk about what ended their story? Jayla, yes.
That's funny that Melly mentioned the whole and Jesus and heaven situation because in my prompt now, the person that I saw in my painting who was right in my room with the angelic devil vibe with them, they had explained to me that in this life and in many lives after this one and even before that we had known each other and that we were close, but that they had to soon leave my life because of the impact that they would have Not sure if it was negative or positive, but it made me really upset, really sad.
Okay. C7, yes.
This part is very hard for me to recount because it is definitely one that is hard to remember with any kind of good feeling, but I was stuck basically in that cinema room as every time that film ended, another of me stepped into the room, and it was very strange, and I just thought I was going to be stuck there forever. I closed my eyes and hoped that it would be over, and when I opened them, I was on my kitchen floor with my mom standing over me. I had apparently passed out, but it couldn't have been a dream. It couldn't, because these videos show this actually happened to us.
Okay. Yes, Jamie. Jamie, would you like to share? Okay. Well, anybody else?
I would like to share. So my ending is my reality. A doctor and my friends that I didn't want to see, they came and they grabbed me and they pinned me to a hospital bed. They say I'm crazy and they say I'm mental and I'm taking medications and they won't let me leave. So, Maud, I really need those videos. It's the proof I need to get out of here.
As we discussed before, we can talk about it later. And yes, Chris Johnson and your wife, thank you for joining us even on your anniversary. But would anybody else like to explain their story and the end of their story? Yes, please, go ahead.
I realized who it was. The man, it was me. Like, older, but me. And I started to realize that whatever it was that passed me at the beginning, that passed me, that just ran past me, that thing, it was me. It was him. The picture, the painting, was him or me. And that roar came from him or me. I don't know, though. I don't know what that means, but
Maybe it's saying you weren't quite ready to head into the future yet. And so it led you down a path at which you would find out why and realize what you're meant to do and how to get to the point to being older than you wants you to be at. Maybe so. Anybody else with their story?
I was I'd found that wedge of light, and in that room, what happened at the end is that first I found the cedar trunk, and it had all of these opened up walnuts in it, and inside the walnuts were gold, like poured gold. And then quick forward, then at the end I kind of go to my knees, and something about that movie about the younger part of yourself, this, I think what happened is that on my knees I grab this red clay that's on the ground and I rub it in my hands, and then I kind of wipe it around my cheeks. And I remember that, I was this untamed horse, off of Assateague Island, as well as like this wild girl who knew the horse by heart. And so it's just kind of remembering that in the middle of all of this stuff that I do every day that has to do with watering plants and getting to school on time. So.
Interesting. Okay. I'm glad you shared. Thank you. And
thank you.
Yes, Emily, yes.
So, like I talked about the axe earlier, I took the axe and it was like I took all of my anger out on that wall and I knocked that wall down and I was in the sky. And the only other place I could go was either jump or stay. So I jumped and it was like I was catapulted onto a couch in the theater and I was in class.
Okay. Interesting. So jumping from a battle and anger into sort of a place of peace and happiness, it seems, for you. Okay, interesting. Anybody else would like to share? We'd love to hear anything else anybody has to say. Just raise your hand or type in chat. Okay, well, let's get to this final film, shall we? And Melly, you shared a lot throughout, so I want you to pay a lot of attention to this one as well, please. Huh. Saying yes, but it wasn't audible.
There was no audio, but okay, so y'all remember when I said that Jesus wanted me to, or asked me to start over? I did say yes, because I feel like I didn't really have an option. But there was no audio. But I remember saying that, but there's no audio.
And maybe starting over was coming here, coming to meet with us, and we've shown you that you aren't alone and just kind of bring you somewhere where you can start, well, over. Well, would anybody like to share their full story for us? Yes, we do. We all seek healing. Well,
I will share.
no, yes, please, go
I
ahead.
think I should. So this is my first time, obviously. Hi.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
You reached out to me. Actually, you sent me an email. I don't know if you like specifically remember, but you said you could help me, and I'm kind of out of options here. So, my daughter suffers from this, and we've been to like doctor after doctor, but what can they do? I mean, it's a dream, right? I thought it was a dream. But after what happened the other day, I should share this. So I sort of jolted awake and I felt anxious because I knew I woke up for a reason, but I'm just laying there like trying to regain all of my senses back. And then all of a sudden it was like this complete rush of sound coming back to me like all at once. And I just hear my daughter screaming. And she has the same dream of the door all the time now. And I knew that I needed to go calm her down. So I go to get out of bed, and to the right of me is my bedroom door. But it wasn't my bedroom door. It actually almost looked exactly like the door my daughter always describes in her dreams, like her closet door, but distorted and scary, like scratches in the paint, and each time there's like this glowing blue light from behind. But I could still hear her screaming. So I grabbed the doorknob and turn it, and it was heavy to push open, and immediately just this coldest breeze rushed out. And I see stairs, concrete and cobwebbed. I make my way down them. And it just keeps getting colder, like the further that I go. And something runs past me. It was a shadow. And I thought that maybe it could be a little girl. but I don't know. It was dark and I couldn't see, but I felt scared for them, like they needed my help. So I follow, and I'm creaking down these steps. They're so loud. And I come across this hallway, and it's dimly lit and it's narrow, and I'm walking down it, and I feel as if I'm in a soundproof room. Like the silence is deafening. I hear nothing. And I smell something like candles
Ma'am?
lit with them.
Ma'am? 1 second here. I believe I have something to show you that will either make or break your heart.
Walking down this hallway, I start to see a line of pictures on the wall. They're old, more like portraits. I recognize none of them. I stopped dead in my tracks as I came across one particular portrait all the way to the end. It's all of us, a family portrait. My husband, my daughter, and I. Studying this painting, I hear a whisper. Mom? I stop and start looking in every direction. I hear it again. I turn around and run in the direction that I came. I can't find the stairs anywhere. I see a door that I hadn't noticed before. I struggle with the handle. It opens. I stand in the doorway. I look around and realize I'm standing in my daughter's room. I'm standing in the closet door, just like she had said. It looks normal, her nightlight lighting up the room. I see her bed. She's laying there, sound asleep. I notice a small wooden box. There was a note inside, my daughter's handwriting. It said, "Don't worry, Mom. I just go back to bed when this happens." I couldn't believe any of it. But then it was weird, almost like a hallucination or a vision. I closed my eyes and I was standing in a different room. My room. There I was, sleeping. I see my daughter standing at my closet. The door opens. She doesn't say anything. I don't even think she saw me. She turns around and goes back through the closet door, shutting it. I open my eyes again. I'm back in my daughter's room. I see the note on the floor and I pick it up. I just go back to bed when this happens. I look at my daughter sleeping, and then back at the closet door. I opened it, going back the way I came, through the hallway, up the cold concrete stairs. Coming to the door, I open it. Standing in my own bedroom now. Empty bed. Standing in the closet doorway. There is no way I could make sense of this. But I climbed back into my bed, and I just went back to sleep.
Well,
I don't understand. You reached out to me and you said you could help me, and I'm even more confused. I don't understand how this could help me. I don't understand what all of this is trying to tell me. I want to know why we're all experiencing this.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt. I just heard back from John.
John? Like
Yeah, John. He says he has a really urgent message I have to present to everyone. Can I present?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks.
The ending of one thing is also the beginning of another. What is the next adventure? There's room enough in this life with its many endings and its many beginnings for things you could not have imagined last week or last year or in the last 10 years. Keep moving. Keep moving forward. Accept that you are a work in progress, both a revision and a draft. You are a better and more complete than earlier versions of yourself. But you also have to work to do, to be open to change, and allow yourself to be revised. Keep moving. Do not stop at the wall looming in front of you. Make it a door. Make a door wide enough for everyone to come through, not just only you. Keep moving forward.
Wait a second. He's gone.
Maud.
Yo,
Hello?
Mom, where
Are
you
you there?
be?
Where did
Where you
he
at?
go? Where is he?
Like
He
this
just
helpless
left.
one.
He was just here.
Wait, so does this mean that Maud knew the whole
Yo,
time?
bro, that's crazy.
He knew the whole time.
Y'all, I told y'all before, this guy was sus, but y'all didn't listen to me.
He's gone?
What does that mean
Wait.
for us?
How
He
am I
didn't.
supposed to get those videos?
He
No
left
one's
before
gonna
he
believe
I don't
me.
know, but I got stuff to do. I'm gonna go like FaceTime my boyfriend, eat some chips, get some Chick-fil-A, something, go to bed. Peace out.
That was
That
my
left
only
more
hope.
questions than
Nice meeting
answers.
all of y'all.
We did.
That was my proof.
If anything, it scrambled the puzzle pieces more than put them in place.
Why did he send that?
This is too much to digest. I guess listen to what he said and keep moving forward. I'm gonna sleep on it. I have to go.
I don't understand how I'm supposed to move forward when I have no proof anymore and I'm stuck here.
I'm so confused. More than when I first started.
This didn't help anything from earlier.
Well, I
Do
guess
any
the
of you
meeting's
actually
over.
know who this is?
I missed the first meeting, so I'm like just about as confused as you could be.
This is my first meeting too. He contacted me and told me that he could help me. And then
Well,
he's
he
gone.
didn't contact me. Like I found it on Miss Rice's TST page and I signed up and I had no idea what it was and I thought it was a show and so I was like I definitely want to see this and now I'm here and now I'm like totally lost.
Oh, I've been here before. This is the first time this has ever been brought up. So I have no clue what this is.
Are we supposed
I
to
gotta go.
stay here?
I'm gonna go try to talk to John. I just
I'm here. It's okay. Destiny Vic.
I'm here, sweetheart. Hi. Hi, Destiny. Oh, bless you. You got so worried. I had to come in. You just had an experience, a happening, an old 50s, kind of 60s artistic happening where the line between audience and actor blurs. So you did everything perfectly so. Matter of fact, Destiny, you became the actor. So I'm sorry I had to come back to say to you that you are safe and I am here. And I did invite you to a play, but this play was well played. And the
It
reason
really
of
was.
it was a happening. Oh, bless you, friend. Destiny, when did you graduate St. Stephen's High School? No, she was not,
18.
Corey. What year?
18.
In 2018. Oh, wow. So good to see you, my friend. I was
Great to see you.
so happy. JC, Mackenzie, Patton. Oh my goodness, you guys, I can't see everybody because my grid view is insane in this little back room of mine. The actors, hang tight, keep your cameras off, actors. Those are the actors. If you see, well, some people might have their camera off. But I think, oh, Dr. Turk, I am so grateful that Jane St. Clair, I'm trying to see Jamie Petty. I think I can kind of see, let me see, 41 people with us tonight, but we were rocking at 70, 80 at one point. People were like, I've got to get out of here. I don't know what's going on. But a lot of people didn't understand what happening was. You were meant to feel nervous. You were meant to feel like at any moment that you kind of were actually believing your own creative writing. So this was actually all created by us. Adrian does this at ASU with his freshman seminar, right, Adrian? How many of these did you grade this semester when you zoomed in to your ASU classes?
Well, this semester, 92.
92 creative, this is called a lead story. It's an actual creative writing exercise. So what we did in the Tractor Shed Theater was we did not want to do, well, I'm virtual for now, but I'm coming back in the fall. But we wanted to bend the virtual venue and do an experience instead of doing the clear masks and standing socially distanced and doing what we already know how to do, but with masks and socially distant. You know, we wanted to do something we had never done before, and we've been playing in this playground now for a while, virtual venue. Our first back in last spring, I was taken out of the tractor shed. I had to protect myself, obviously, from COVID, and had to stay by doctor's orders in this house. For Micah and Adrian and I have been sequestered the entire time since it happened. Just the three of us in this house. And so Micah is a virtual student, Adrian is a virtual professor, and I'm a virtual theater teacher. And we've made it work. St. Stephen's High School was so gracious in Catawba County Schools to provide you know, the Chromebooks and the capability of my students being both virtual and hybrid. So I taught kids in masks, sitting in a computer lab and or at home. And I had to really learn how to do this world. And if you know me, which I know some of you know me really well, we don't even own a cell phone. We always feared the screen. Always. But my students and I wanted to do something really weird, as per usual, keeping our tractor shed aesthetic and doing something that nobody else is doing. There are moments in theater this happening. I don't think it's died. It was really hot and heavy. Happenings were in the 50s and 60s. I wanted to do a modern virtual venue where you thought I can chat Are they chatting? Who is chatting? And we just took all aspects of our world right now and tried to blend them and created this original storyline. And I wish it could be, Google Meet is terrible. We could not use Zoom. It would have been a lot better. We would have had more power over it. Evan Petty is moderator. If you'd come back, Mod. Watch, let's see if he enters the frame. He crawls back in. Evan, tell us what you had to learn, and more than welcome to stay and listen. We're just having a wee talk back. If you want to talk about your story or talk to the actors, this is a talk back now. But if you have had the experience and you want to go and get something to eat or live your life, you go right ahead.
Well, so sorry, I had licorice. That's what I was doing when I was gone. So for the virtual venue, there's many options we could do, some more preferable than others. So we decided to opt for the OBS virtual venue. And the OBS virtual venue is a little bit better because I can control what you see. Like, let's say I was talking, you would see this screen. Or if I was showing a film, you would see this screen. Or if I wanted you to see me, you'd see me. And so we went about that, and there was a lot of troubleshooting.
Oh, man. Moderator, who was one of your biggest tech gurus in this journey?
One of my biggest helpers, Michael Rice, Miss Rice's son.
Micah, can you say hello? Would you say hello now, son? Are you in the meet?
He is like another little brother. He's a real good helper.
Micah, Dan, can you say hello? Hi. Oh, your mic's not working, son? Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Whatever. You know it is.
Hey.
You can change this talkback, by the way, if you go to the three little dots, if you're on a laptop or a Chromebook or a PC, and change the layback out to tiled. And then let's see if we can open up our viewing instead of just...
Oh, yeah. Also, if any of you are wondering, since I was also acting and controlling what everybody saw, this is what I saw. This was my end. So, yeah, I had to jump through all...
Hold on one second. You can also hover over the moderator and you get a push pin. And if you push that pin, he's pinned to your screen. So show us your screen if you want to look at his screen closer if you're blind like me. I've pinned his, so I see just his screen. Tell us about this 4 split screen on a PC, right?
Yeah, so even though it's split 4 ways, I still had stuff I had to change through. Like these up here in the top left, I have the prompts, the videos, and then the last video. And then down here, I had 1 script, 2 scripts order, and then the order of everybody. And then down here in the bottom right is where I was controlling everything. And of course, the top right is all of you guys. So yeah, that's how all of it sort of worked. I had hotkeys on my keyboard so I could switch things quicker. But yeah, it was pretty complicated, but I mean, we got it all together and it worked out and it seemed to work. So I'm just happy we didn't have any fall throughs then.
Oh, Dan is virtual venue. And so Dan, tell us about your experience of the dramaturgy that you did for the crew of this situation.
So, I wanted to cry because I don't see how Miss
Dan's
Rice
a freshman. All freshmen want to cry, regardless if you're in the Tractor Shed Theater virtually or physically. You're going to cry at some point.
No, so basically, I kind of want to be a teacher. That's like kind of what I wanted to do. And then I had to help Miss Rice with this. And like, I love everyone that joined. Thank you so much because y'all helped a lot. So thank you for joining. But I had to make some videos on some stuff that was kind of, it was frustrating. And I see how Miss Rice has a hard time with some of her students sometimes because she'll like word for word explain how to do it. And then people have a hard time like understanding, or they miss a step or they mess up, and it's really frustrating. So I guess just the process of having to do it all is really frustrating. But like I said, I
Yeah,
don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
they have to take leadership in the theater because my best role is facilitator. And so Dan is experiencing his first stab at leadership in the tractor shed, where I'm like, did you ask them? He's asking me. I'm like, what, did you talk to your castmates? Well, what are you doing? Why are you looking at me? Go away. Go do the things. And he's like, okay, everyone, I'm going to spell this out for you. And then he does it beautifully. And I'm like, well done, buddy. But wait, let's see if they understood what you said. And so Dan got that good old moment. And it was all virtual venue. He had to learn all about Google Meet. And it's very difficult getting everyone into the virtual venue. We still were on the struggle bus. And then I played bouncer, so I was trying to find somebody to kick out. I swear if you got kicked out, it wasn't me. I only kicked one person out because they were sus. I just was like, why would you say okay if I was recording? Bye. So I had to be like, I hope that wasn't anybody's friend. I get a little jumpy because how many of you have survived a Zoom bomb? Well, yeah. Luckily, we didn't get bad in here, but we have. We have been bombed awfully in Zoom and Google Meet. But Miss Geithner, I don't know how comfortable you feel because I don't want to call you out like you guys did Mr. Johnson. I know he had his hand raised, but
that was on him.
That
was on him.
I knew it was accidental. That's why I didn't say anything. But you said it in chat, so I was like, okay.
Somebody said it and I followed. Y'all, I'm a nervous Nelly trying to run tech.
Wait, hold up. Is Destiny still in here? Because
she is.
Okay, Destiny. I loved you. I love you.
Yeah,
I don't know
love
you, but
too,
I
girl.
love
You believed it. We did our job. That's what gave us the okay that we did what we had to do. We were all talking in the room just a second ago, like we did it.
Marshall Thomas, you were fantastic in the chat. Man, I want to read your entire story. That's what I want to tell you guys. If you want to publish online, we're going to finish the website now that the has happened. And so we're going to put back the prompts. If you want to think about your story, flesh it out and share it, we're going to publish it online. So that was me.
That was Miss Rice.
Mackenzie, you knew. I was like, oh, Mackenzie,
I knew it.
You knew it. I was like, oh, she says, let me get in there with some torches. Let me get in there. Yeah, I wish I could have done more, but I was like researching quickly and I have like 18 tabs open. So Miss Geithner, I don't know how you feel about sharing, but Miss Geithner was also virtual all year with me. Like she and I. And so Geithner and I, she would, we love emojis. We do a lot of emoji work in Google Meet. Would you feel comfortable sharing a bit, Anna, about being a virtual teacher during COVID pandemic times?
Well.
Yay, thank you, friend.
It's been tough, but I tell you what, there is connection on the internet. I mean, you still can connect with a human being, and this experience has been so wonderful. I love it. It's made me think of the people that are here and the people that I've lost as well. This has been a very emotional experience. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, I love you, Anna. She has definitely been my twinsy in the virtual venue world. Teaching is not easy in general, but I agree with you, Anna. You know, it's because we spend our lives losing people we love if we outlive them. And they are literally in a different realm, just like we all are right now. We're all in a different realm. And there can be connections made with those that have gone before us, even while we're in this realm and they're there. Just like I can here with you and your personal stories, what you've written, Shandy is one, oh my gosh, Shandy is one of my first ever. Shandy, would you talk to me? Y'all, I taught Shandy 20 some years ago. She was one of my first Catawba Middle School students. Shandy, I don't know. You got clothes on, honey? You want to talk to me? That was part of the etiquette. Did you like that? You all must wear clothes to the meet. Did you like that? Where are you, Shandy? Would you say?
I had to mute Gabriel's video games in his room. He was being loud. I had to silence him.
Oh, Shandy, I am so happy to hear you.
I'm
Oh, there's
here.
your face. There's your
I'm
face.
here. Let's see. That would have been 1997 and 1998. So just a couple years ago.
Hop, skips, and jumps. 1997. Shandy.
Was a great year.
We're like vintage wine girl, aren't we?
Uh-huh.
And is your mom here tonight as well?
Yes, my mom is here as well. Not with me in the
Lois.
same home, but she's in here virtually, yes.
And we've had
And
to
actually,
learn to love each other, haven't we, Shandy, through this technology? Yeah.
Yes, and it's been so helpful. I often think about what it must have been like in 1918 without any of this virtual technology, whenever the last big pandemic happened and everyone was shut in their homes and all they had was mail and letters to get by, and how slow that process was, and how they even had to sanitize the mail back then. And I feel very lucky that we have this way to keep in touch with each other and to still see each other.
See, I
Throughout
taught her
all of
well.
this.
Isn't she so smart? Shandy is one of my longest student friends, and I am so blessed that you're here, Shandy. And Lois as well, her mother and I became very close friends with Adrian. That we're like family, really. And we can't wait till the vaccinations really hit us well, so we can all kind of meet, maybe outside, socially distance, wearing
Oh, I
masks.
can't wait. I'm so excited. One more week until I'm fully vaccinated. And my mom was messaging me earlier, and she was saying, about 15 years ago, she was in Adrian's writing class, and that she experienced the happening then, that was her. She recalled her writing prompts. She messaged me and she said, this sounds so familiar. And then halfway through she said, I know why this is familiar, because I've written this before.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Adrian's tickled. Love it.